Yesterday, I read on LinkedIn an article by Michael Davis. You know who Michael Davis is, the TEDx speaker and coach, and he's one of my coaches. Why public speaking isn't your number one fear. It made me think of when I was a child. My number one fear when I was a child was not speaking unless my parents wanted me to tell them the truth, and then I kind of shut up. My fear actually was clowns. There was something about those painted faces and those oversized shoes that gave me the creeps. My mother finds sometimes painted her face, but not that thick. Although I did go out with a couple of people whose faces were, never mind. But back to the story. One day I decided that enough was enough. I could not let my fear of clowns hold me back any longer, so I gathered my courage and I marched right up to this tall, thin, bald clown. I know there are quite a few clowns that are bald. I looked him straight in the eye, which was difficult to do because he had this oversized, overwide nose and I really couldn't see his eyes. And I said to him, "Hey, bozo." And as a child, I thought all clowns' first names were Bozo. But I said I may be fearful of hanging around you, but I refuse to let it control me any longer. So bring on your seltzer water bottle, and I get my super soaker, which, if you don't know, a super soaker is a recreational bottle that uses manualized pressurized water with great force and range and accuracy. But I said to him, I'm ready to face my fears directly. And to my surprise, the clown just laughed at me and he handed me this horn with this big bulb on the end. They squeeze and it just honks. And he said, "Here you go, little man," which I was surprised he called me a little man because at that point in my life, I was actually 21 years old. And he said, "I'm glad you're not afraid anymore because we clowns just want to bring you happiness and mirth into your world." And that day I actually did have cotton candy, but it was not about eat any mirth that a clown was going to give to me. And with that, my fear of clowns just disappeared, and I learned that sometimes the things that we're most scared of are not frightening as we think, and that some courage can mutate into even more courage. It can turn into more courage. So as Franklin D. Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And for me, now my number one fear really is public speaking, but at least I know that I can always count on a friendly clown to help me through if I ever have to face public speaking again.